Let's discuss the 9 episodes of Bluey that made me sob like a newborn. And if these episodes or any others broke you too, leave me a comment and let's talk about it. Hey guys, this is McGann. I'm the hostess of the Fangirl, and I've been trying to find the right way to talk about Bluey for a while, and a somber stroll through this preschool series' saddest episodes feels like a great way to start. Coming in at number 9, Season 1, Episode 16, Yoga Ball. This is the one where Bingo goes through some big sensory issues, and she has to learn how to use her big girl bark to advocate for herself and set boundaries, which is really hard to do, and a lot of us were never given the autonomy or tools to do that for ourselves. And something about watching Bingo suffer and cry makes this episode miserable to all of us trauma-riddled millennials who grew up with boomer parents that always told us to suck it up. Number 8. Season 1, Episode 38, Copycat. Bluey and Bandit are playing a game when all of a sudden they spot this hurt budgie, and they try to take the bird to the vet, but the bird doesn't make it. Now that's already sad in and of itself. But then we see how 5-year-old Bluey copes with that in her mind. And Bluey goes home and she plays games that recreate her experience with the budgie not making it. She's learning about the world and death and grief, and the way it comes out through playing is just so beautifully done, and yet depressingly sad. Number 7, Season 2, Episode 26, Sleepy Time. And I have such empathy pain for sad children that this episode just wrecks me every time. Bingo is having a dream where she's in space and has to let go of her best plushie Floppy, which ends up causing Bingo to cry both in her dream and in real life while she's sleeping. And because Bluey is being a night pain, Chili ends up comforting Bingo, who in her dream sees Chili represented by the sun, and Sun Chili is telling Bingo, even if you can't see me, I'll always be here for you. And while this is a really sweet moment about a little toddler learning how to sleep on her own and be brave, there's just something that triggers in you as a mother when you realize that Bingo subconsciously sees Chili as the sun in her universe. And the secondary message of Chili, or anyone else's parent, passing away but still being there in spirit is so overwhelming for a children's show. My heart cracks like the planet Bingo comes out of. Number 6. Season 2, Episode 16, Army, is where Jack, who seems to have signs of ADHD, comes to Calypso's school because he can't pay attention or follow directions or remember anything. And Calypso sends Jack to play with Rusty, who is obsessed with the military since his father is a service member. And the kids are playing Army, but because Rusty has this natural leadership that he exudes throughout the game, it prompts Jack to do all the things he wasn't able to do in traditional school. And while this is such a beautiful episode, as a mom to multiple special needs kids, it really breaks my heart how difficult it is for so many children and their parents to find the right educational fit for their children. Not to mention, Calypso runs a great school, but she can only have so many kids enrolled. And if you are at all familiar with the US public education system, thinking about all of the kids falling through the cracks because of standardized testing and memorization being all that matters, it can really make you want to have a breakdown watching this. It took so little for Jack to be successful, but traditional school could not give that to him. Number 5, Season 2, Episode 28, Seesaw. And this is such a cute episode because we get to see the adorable Pomeranian puppy Pom Pom, and her view of the world as this teeny tiny dog is so different, and I love it. It gives us this underlying message that even if you aren't particularly special needs, just being exactly who you are can make the world a very different place for you. And so the kids are all playing at the playground, but Bluey and Bingo get a little irritated that Pom Pom has limitations due to her size. So they start playing without her, and it kind of shatters Pom Pom's heart. She is so upset. So seeing the problem, Bandit takes it upon himself to become a bit of a bully and hold down the seesaw so his girls can't get off of it. Bluey and Bingo react by soliciting other kids to get on the seesaw, but Bandit finds ways to keep them all stuck in the air, even grabbing rocks to maintain his heavy status. Then the kids finally call for Pom Pom to get on the seesaw, and presto, she is the last little ounce of weight needed to reclaim the seesaw from Bandit. Not only is this episode super sweet and adorable, but as an adult, it's obvious to notice that Bandit orchestrated the entire game as a way to include Pom Pom and make her be the most important player. And my heart grew 10 sizes that day as I wept. Number 4, Season 2, Episode 50, Baby Race, might as well gut every mother in the audience. For you non-parents watching, you probably won't get this episode as easily or, understand why it's difficult for moms to get through without crying. But to my fellow Chilies out there, how often have you felt not good enough? Or that you had to keep up with the Joneses' baby? Or that you were coming up short in every way as a parent? It is hard and exhausting work to raise decent tiny people. And Coco's mom telling Chili she's doing a good job is flat out inspirational on how much uplifting power women can offer each other. I cry every time she says it. Plus, we get to see a baby Bluey finally motivated to move herself because she saw something she wanted and it was her mom. Meanwhile, her mom has felt inadequate and not good enough the entire time, and I just get choked up thinking about it. Number 3, Season 2, Episode 27, Granddad. Ever wonder about Chili's dad? Well, he's a tough old country boy who likes being active and outdoorsy. He even makes a game out of running away from Chili with Bluey and Bingo. And the little girls find that so entertaining. However, the soul-crushing part is hearing Chili mention how her father's health isn't so good anymore, and how he shouldn't be so active and outdoorsy if he wants to stay amongst the living. And if that wasn't too real and crushing for you, the final moments of that episode are Chili and her dad sitting by the lake, and they're talking about how they used to come there all the time. And Chili mentions that those days were a long time ago, but her dad argues that no, that was yesterday. And then we see the world through Granddad's perspective, where Chili is still a tiny little puppy, and suddenly I'm filled with a crippling nostalgia at how fast things run past you in life, and I'm crying my eyes out for the next 2 days because I watched a preschool show. Let me pause here and give an honorable mention to Season 1, Episode 32, Bumpy and the Blue Wolf, which not only hits a special nerve for me because a young, helpless creature is sick and no one can find a cure, and the caretaker is having to cope that, hey, everybody gets sick sometimes, but we also see Bingo in the hospital and we have no idea why. What's wrong, baby? Honorable mention to Season 2, Episode 41, Octopus. This is where we see Chloe leave the healer household, and she attempts to get her dad to play with her the same way that Bandit plays with his kids. But Chloe's dad doesn't quite get how to do the game correctly, and Chloe gets really frustrated. However, because there is more than one way to be an awesome dad, he does the best thing you can do. Try. And Chloe's dad adapts a new way to play the game that Chloe later brings to Bluey's house. I love this episode because Mr. Bandit has become this godlike parenting figure lately, but obviously not all people are built the same, and this episode shows that there are many ways to be a good father who interacts with your kids. But just watching Chloe and her dad struggle to find a balance, it really broke my heart, even though it mended it later with how good of a job he did. Number 2. Season 3, Episode 31, Onesies, introduces Chili's sister Brandy, who hasn't been around in years. And Brandy gets the girls gifts that are less than ideal because she really doesn't know Bluey or Bingo. And while relatives give bad gifts all the time, the real heartbreaking moment is when Chili is explaining things to Bluey, and she essentially describes in very kid-friendly terminology that Aunt Brandy has difficulty being around the healer family because Brandy wants to have children and she has fertility issues. So Brandy wants something really badly, but it's not going to happen and no one can do anything to help her, which is montaged over Bingo running away from Brandy during their game and Brandy longingly reaching out for a child fading off into the distance. It is a hard episode to watch. Before we get to number 1, let me give another honorable mention to Season 1, Episode 43, Camping. This is where Bluey makes friends with Jean Jean-Luc while out camping on holiday, but then he has to leave early one morning and doesn't get to say goodbye, so Bluey is really upset and hurt. And this very gently shows kids how to deal with loss on multiple different levels. But the end of the episode shows Bluey grown up and running into Jean-Luc again, and that just really slams my nostalgia sadness button. Also, in a similar vein, Season 2, Episode 8, called Daddy Drop-Off, is where Lila describes her first time meeting Bingo and how Lila was very shy and all alone before that. But because Bingo included Lila in her game, they remain friends for years to come. And we see a montage of them growing up and graduating together. You guys without kids don't get it, but I have a son about to graduate, and oh my gosh, that episode hit me hard. The days are long, but the years are short. And now that leaves us with my top pick for the most emotional Bluey episode, and that is Season 3, Episode 47, Dragon. This shows us a glimpse of Bandit and Chili's childhoods while they draw with the girls, and it's obvious that Chili is a lot more talented with art than Bandit. As it turns out, Bandit was teased in school, so he gave up on drawing. However, Chili's mom encouraged her to keep working at it, so she did, and she got better. And while that was a sweet memory, the horse Chili draws herself with can't go with them at the end of their story. And instead the horse gains wings and flies away. That is representational that Chili's mom had passed away, and the horse is a clear stand-in for Chili having a moment with her mother, because Chili's ability to draw horses came from her mother's encouragement. So even though Bluey and Bingo don't have that grandmother in their lives, there are these little touches that let her live on and interact with them. And like most sad Bluey episodes, this hidden message for the parents is too much to handle, and my 6-year-old is looking at me going, "What's wrong with you?" as I cry my eyes out. I just want to watch a kid's show without getting a personalized therapy session. So that's it. That is my list of the saddest Bluey episodes that sent me straight to my therapist office. But what do you think? Did your top moments make the list? If not, what Bluey episodes or moments make you curl up into the fetal position? I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job.
Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, "Hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people." So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, "Hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye."